Hi everybody, this is Rebecca Keppel. I am super excited to be here with a layout process video today and to be a part of my friend Christine Meyer's Stealing Saturday series, which is a fun series on YouTube where on Saturdays she and a friend get together and scrap lift each other. This is the layout that I'm going to be scrap lifting from Christine. I noticed in a lot of her layouts she uses big elements to kind of corral everything together and make the eye go to the center of the page to the photo. She uses a lot of suns, which I really like, and she uses her silhouette a lot, and I haven't used mine a lot lately. So I dug out my silhouette, I cut out a big circle out of yellow pattern paper, and then I cut out 3 big clouds as well, and I'm going to create that same type of focal point in the center of my layout just by adhering these down and then keeping everything kind of contained inside. So when I cut out the 3 clouds, I thought about layering a couple of them, and I'm going to use some Thermoweb 3D Zots to layer this one on top and have those other clouds sit behind. You saw when I adhered the sun that I put enough adhesive to keep it down, but not so much that I wasn't able to lift up those edges and tuck those clouds underneath. And the Thermoweb Memory Runner XL is really good for that. It does adhere down permanently overnight, but at first you have a little bit of room to lift things up a little bit. So I also cut out some squares in my Cameo, and then I put a cut line diagonally through the square so that I could make rectangles. And that was so that I could make these cute little graphic sun rays around the outside. I just like the way those look, and it's so easy to do. Just like I said, make squares all the same size and then put some cut lines diagonally through them. Now I'm going to tuck one of those triangles behind the cloud there just so that it's peeking out, just to make it even around that whole area. And I have a few die cuts that I'm playing around with. I also like the way Christine uses stitching on her layouts. She does both machine stitching and hand stitching, and I think it just adds such great texture to it. So I decided to also add some stitch lines to my page here, and I did that in my silhouette as well. So basically what I did was I sized a circle for the pattern paper and cut that out. And then I changed that circle by making it a little bit bigger, and then I changed the lines instead of from cut lines to those dash lines so that I could stitch through. So you can see they're kind of big stitches, and I did every other one, and then I came back and did the ones that were missing. I hope that makes sense. I also used my Cameo to cut out my title. I love Christine's titles. She always has big focal titles, and so I thought it was time to again use my Cameo to create something fun like that. So I cut this outlined font, Beach Babe, twice. I cut it out of the white cardstock and then I cut it out of the pink cardstock. And what I did was I took each of the letters and I tucked them close enough together that they were slightly overlapping, and then I welded them so that that outline, I didn't have to glue down every single letter. It was just one big piece. That's really why I did it, just out of laziness. So I decided I liked the white outline with the pink letters, and I'm just laying everything down. And I don't know if this is just me or if you guys do this too, but I have to lay it where it's going to be before I adhere it down just to see. So this is kind of an effort in futility because I have to push this all aside to adhere it down. But at least I know I want that outline of the second word on that cloud there, and I want the first word centered kind of in the sun above the photos. So I'm just using that Memory Runner XL just a touch around those outline letters. If you get any of the adhesive kind of hanging, I just use my finger to tuck it behind, and it's pretty flexible like that. So it's not like a really thick adhesive where you would have it sticking out and you wouldn't be able to tuck it behind your element there. And I'm going to do the same thing with all the letters, the interior letters for the beach as well. And then I'm trying to decide, okay, do I want my photos centered or off to the left? And I decided I wanted them off to the left, mostly because I do want to do some journaling strips here, and I wanted those on the right-hand side with maybe some die cuts. Once again, I am going to pop up one of the photos. So I have the left and the right adhered flat down to the sun, and then that center one, that's kind of the focal one where she's actually looking at the camera, that one is popped up. I'm looking at some thickers, but you know what? They all have big words on them. And other than this adventure, I just thought some of those big words were just going to take away from the title element there that I had worked so hard to adhere. So, okay, here are my journaling strips, and I printed these out on a 8.5 by 11 piece of vellum. Now, I did this through my laser printer, and I could tell that the laser printer, the heat from the laser printer had warped the vellum just a teeny tiny bit. So if you are going to do this with a laser printer, I would recommend doing pretty thick vellum. Don't use real thin vellum, otherwise it's probably going to melt it. Okay, I'm going to adhere the die cut with the ThermoWeb Memory Runner XL, and I'm going to pop up that little seashell, which I found perfect for this beach scene. And now I am using the Memory Runner XL behind the vellum strips. As long as you do one continuous line, you don't see it. It's kind of like the magic tape for gift wrapping and stuff. Once you kind of press it down, it disappears there. So, and then I popped up that adventure on the 3 photos. I like the way the photos look like they're kind of rays coming out from the adventure, and just use a little wood veneer heart on that little cluster of embellishments there. And that almost completes it. I did decide to use, instead of the words, some of the hearts from those thickers. I really like the shine of them and the colors, so I really wanted to incorporate them. So I created a little visual triangle there, and that then completes the layout. I had so much fun making this layout. Thank you so much, Christine, for asking me to join you, and also in your layouts, just inspiring me to use my Cameo again, use some big elements to create a focal page, use some stitching, just really enjoy that whole process again. So if you're interested in any of the supplies I use, they'll all be linked down below. Be sure to check out Christine's channel and her video this Saturday. I'll link to that as well. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel here, check out my blog, and I'll have a couple of other videos that you might be interested in. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a wonderful day.